A diplomatic passport is issued to a government official who...
What have been their contribution? Even if...
That is one of the most, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean?
I did my national service at the Ministry of Tourism with a protocol.
They have to go to Israel for the stones.
The cornerstone.
They gotta be in the cornerstone. It goes a long way to show how corrupt, the country really is. Because it's more about whom you know, right? DLS Wave, and we are back
again.
Never gets old. So January 2025, brand new Brohaha.
Masa, your Vim Delo, why you don't smoke today?
No, they don't give them diplomatic passport.
Give me diploma. That's what I'm about to talk about. All right, cool. So the Foreign Affairs of Ghana issued a letter requesting the return of diplomatic passports issued by the previous administration. There's an ongoing, chat on the internet about all these people who are not deserving of the passports, but they do have. I don't really know who's got it and who don't, but there's been rumors of people like Sarkodie, Nanaba, Namua, even Sheldon, right? People were saying Koji Sheldon's got it, but he's come out to refute that. The question is, why is this out there though? Because I feel like every government does the same thing. It's pretty much basic protocol. Mm-hmm. So why is there so much noise around it this time?
Well, I think there's so much noise about this thing because diplomatic passport is not a passport that is issued to anybody. Just anybody.
Just anybody.
That's why we have the ordinary passport. If you're an ordinary citizen, you end up with the ordinary passport. And I think one of the media houses actually read what the Constitution says, that a diplomatic passport is issued to a government official who frequently travels on official business. So it's not even automatic that every government official must get a diplomatic passport. If you're a minister of state, doesn't mean, according to what they read, how I infer to it is, it doesn't mean as long as you're a minister or a person of high position, must have a diplomatic passport. Yeah. It is only issued to people who regularly travel on government business. Then you're issued with a diplomatic passport. Yeah. Because mind you, we have the service passport as well. Service passport is usually for people in the ministries, directors and all that, just to expedite their traveling processes. But the diplomatic passport is special. It's for people who are constantly on call to travel outside the country on government business. So I think that's why there's a lot of trouble about it, that you find people, celebrities having a diplomatic passport.
See, that's well explained there. But the bottom line is, a country that has so many misplaced priorities, that's misplaced things. It's as simple as...
Boss.
Yes. Because we have so many... Because, like you said, a diplomatic passport is for somebody with a ministerial position, right? That travels a lot.
Yeah, you need it. You should need it before you get it.
Exactly. But the truth is, all these people being alleged, if it's being alleged,
if
having
it's true, we're not sure. Yeah.
What have been their contribution? Even if they've been given, what have been their contribution? Are we seeing it? Them using those passports to bring any benefit to the country?
I mean, you just said it, right? It's alleged for now. We're not really sure who has it and who doesn't, so we see what happens in the near future. Yeah. But let's break it down. I mean, we have the contemporary, which is pretty much regular or, basic or normal passports. Now, this is issuable to all citizens and not citizen nationals, because you can, naturalize and you can get it too. And valid for 10 years from the date of issue. Second, and that's the regular, I think it used to be blue, now it's green, the ECOWAS passport. Now, second is the service passport, which is pretty much the same like the old color. It's like a bit blue, deep dark blue. It's issuable to officials attached to government institutions who travel on official business.
Right.
Official, meaning state business. Now, third one, diplomatic, which the color is a bit burgundy or urban, something like that. It's not really red.
Any type of blue.
kind of like wine.
Diplomatic, yeah, it's kind of, we say wine, but it's called urban, I guess. So it's issuable to Ghanaian diplomats accredited overseas and their eligible dependents. So wives can have it, spouses can have it. There's no problem. I think there's a lot of misconception. People were talking about, why do their wives have the diplomatic passport? But it comes with the job, so that there's no doubt about it. So my thing is, previous government did the same thing. Why did this administration put it out there in the open for people to kind of go crazy about?
It is hard to answer, but you have to look at the numbers. If you have to go back and compare. I hate doing that. But the thing is, the main question here, I feel, is why the need do you give people, quote unquote, that is why I said alleged, quote unquote, like, let's say Kojo Sheldon, for example, if it's true, or Sarkodie. I feel, okay, Sarkodie is a musician, right? So just maybe we can let that one slide, right? But Kojo Sheldon and those other people like Nana Aba and Amoah Thames, if it is true, I don't think it's important. Right? It's
alleged, like you're saying, there's no truth to it yet.
So back to answer your question, why are people a little bit pissed? The reason is the individuals that are being mentioned. It is the individuals. It has nothing to do with the number of people that have been given. It is the individuals. And that is how I see it. People are pissed because maybe they don't like Nana Ama, they don't like Kojo, they don't like Sarkodie.
But the thing is the jumping into conclusion thing that is getting me, right? It's like nobody's coming up with any evidence that shows these guys have.
But nobody's also coming out to deny it.
I mean, Sheldon did.
No, not even. I'm talking from the government side, because we have spokespersons and stuff. Somebody should come out and say, hey, the list that is out there, pointing fingers at people that are owning this passport or have been given this passport. It's not true.
But is it really necessary for the government to have a presser about every single thing the masses start complaining about?
But this one relates to them. It's more like a national issue, right? Why are you giving a diplomatic passport to anybody and everybody? So they have to come out and no, it is not true. Or yes, we gave it to them based on this.
Yeah, but you don't think as a society you also have like a responsibility to do your due diligence to make sure these people actually do have the passports before you start going online and making accusations?
No, allegations will be made anyways. We are living in a society and a social media world where somebody might even call a reputable institution like a media house and say, hey, I've heard that blah 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 blah. Everybody wants the juicy news these days, right? Without fact checking a lot of stuff.
Actually, I think one of the media houses, I think Onua TV, where Captain Smart is, that journalist Nana Yabrifo or something, she's very outspoken. She actually read part of the lists, because the thing was, I think they issued a message to all diplomatic passport holders from the previous government, issued by the previous government, to return them. I think the issue came out when some of them were not, they were refusing, or they were not returning it. So that's why they had to, and they published a list, and she actually read some names of the list. I mean, the list that were names that were of interest to her. So I think they published it after some of them submitted it, but some refused to submit because they felt it was still in their right to keep it.
That is one of the most, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? It's like you occupy a position, it comes with certain benefits. Once you're done with that position, right, you have to return every little thing you got, just like the state cars. You come into power, or you're given a position, you get a car. You leave and you're like, I don't want to give the car back.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it shows the extent of how corrupt some of these people are. Now, can you really justify that? What would be the number one reason why somebody would not want to return their diplomatic passport?
It is given to you for a specific purpose.
And listen, you have a month. Because after the election, let's say 10th, you have that time to say, okay, let me just give it out, right? But I'm telling you, most of this, our so-called leaders and people they put in position and give this, they are selfish people. Because if they are not, I always go back, I say, look at the state of the country and look at the money that has gone into people's pocket Look at it that way, and it will tell you that most of these people don't think about the country. They come first, and they will forever come first. That's it.
I think that's why. I think that. By extension, I think our constitution needs a review. I think during the transition period, all these issues should be dealt with. It's just like the White House. I remember vividly when when Obama was making way for Trump, he, by American law, at a certain time before the inauguration, Obama, the outgoing president, should have completely vacated the White House because they need time for renovation and resetting of things to suit the incoming president. And once the incoming president is sworn in, he has to start using the White House. So these are things that should be enshrined in the Constitution, where they say, okay, during the transition period, we're not just exchanging documents or explaining processes to you and for continuity. All these things must be put in there. If you're a government official, a car, a house, whatever has been issued to you for your work purposes, by this time you should return everything.
Yeah, I do have a problem with that though, because we cannot enshrine everything into the Constitution. Some things are very basic norms, right?
Exactly.
Because my thing is, when you are kind of like taking that position, coming into office, were they not aware of the fact that once you're done with that position, you have to give that diplomatic passport back?
You see, that common sense doesn't work with us. And so I think that either they put it in the Constitution or they give you the validity of that passport till the end of your appointment. I think that's it.
But I mean, you are an intelligent person, like a state official, right? You get the diplomatic passport when you assume office. That's the only time you get it. Yeah. So it's very natural for you to understand, or somebody in your team or whoever, you need to know you have to give it back. I mean, example, let's say I'm working for a company, right? And they gave me like an iPhone, with a MacBook, because I mean, maybe whatever, like what you call it, customer service, whatever, right? Yeah. If I'm leaving this company, I mean, what right do I have to say I'm gonna take these items with me? I don't want to give.
That's stealing.
I just do not understand the logic behind this.
But I agree. Both are making sense. I agree with the Constitution thing you're talking about. But I think they should, especially with every 4 years, because we vote every 4 years, we say, okay, if you're appointed, we know by the 7th, by runoff, if there's no runoff, by the 7th, latest by the 9th, we know who the president is, the next incoming president. So you say, okay, by the 15th of every 4 years, that administration, that their time ends by the 15th, because that time So everything you need to hand over by the 15th, you should be able to hand over. Finish. So that they will make, because then you still have about 3 weeks, like you said, remodel, redo this. Even the incoming one will know the kind of ministers. Up to date, our ministers have not been appointed. They are still being vetted.
Yeah.
So we have our.
Even the president is still using temporary location. Yesterday I read in the news that they've discovered some 15 secret cameras. So all those things, of course, if I'm going into office, I don't want to have the old cameras there because you don't know who is watching. All these things should be done in the transition period.
Exactly. So before they do that inauguration thing they did on the 7th of January, the next day he walks in, or that afternoon he walks in. We see other countries doing it. Trump has already signed so many documentations already, passed some laws already.
Yeah. For me, I feel like it just has to be like, I always say this, right? Policies that are enacted and enforced, because if there's a deadline, like I said, 1 month or 2 weeks, if you do not return it, there is a fine of maybe $100,000, and then you forced to give it back. It's as simple as that. There shouldn't be like,
every 4 years,
anything written in the Constitution.
Like I was saying, I think if you don't want to put a fine on it, if any person is appointed, they have a contract. Your contract ends on this day. When you are issuing the passport, issue the expiry date on this date. No embassy will give you a visa beyond your passport expiration date. So even if you keep it, it's useless.
But you know why they don't want to bring it?
I don't even think it should get to that point. The point is you just got to give everything back. Cars,
but
office.
You know why they don't want to bring it? Because there's no penalty.
That's what I'm saying. There are no policies and penalties like that.
Like you're saying, that's why I said both of you can be right. at the end, okay, this is what you need to do by this time, and then you add the punishment to it.
$100,000.
Exactly. If you
every day that goes by, $10,000 more. Exactly. That's what you do. People will take it back.
That is, and I'm telling you, Ghanaians, that is the language we understand.
It's not. I think it's just humans in general. Because if you go to Singapore, China, it's the same thing. That's the only thing that people respect: the law. That's it.
Everywhere, actually, yes.
So yeah, let's move on. All right, cool. Now I think a lot of people also kind of like misunderstanding the whole thing about diplomatic passports. People kind of feel like maybe you do not need to get visas once you have these passports, but I feel like people are getting it wrong. Even with diplomatic passport, you still have to apply for visas. I think the only thing that comes with it is like a little privileges, like you jump the queue, the process get expedited a little bit, stuff like that. I know. So that's what kind of like getting me a bit confused. What is the reason why some of them don't want to give them back? Because you're still gonna be able to travel with your regular passport. For somebody who's been in state office for like 4 years, I feel like it's still got a bit of like clout.
I think it has to do with a lot of things. When they are I did my national service at the Ministry of Tourism with the protocol department, so I know this quite well. When they go for visa applications, sometimes they don't have to go themselves. The protocol officers just submit on their behalf. Maybe countries like the US you have to go, but usually they don't have to go by themselves. When you get to the airport, sometimes you can use a VIP section, and if you have a diplomatic passport, even if you're going through the main airport terminal, you have faster processing. And when you arrive at different countries, you're able to use the VIP lounges and all that. So there are certain privileges to it. So that is, and when you taste that, you don't want to let go.
Yeah, but you should have understood that from day one. You only coming into office for 4 years max. I mean, maximum will be 8 years, right? So if you think about it, this kind of like draws a huge contrast between like I don't want to say Africans in general, but like Ghanaians mentality and like the West. I think we saw a video of one of the prime ministers. I think it was the Dutch prime minister. I'm not really sure. Walking the streets, walking the streets to work. Meanwhile, we just don't really want to hand our diplomatic passports back. I mean, look, do you see the dynamics? You know what I mean, right? So Sheldon was saying the same thing. If you have a regular or contemporary or basic passport or normal passport, like we call it, right? You can still travel. If he's able to do it, I'm able to do it, you're able to do it, what's the big deal? I mean, do you know what I mean? As long as you have all the necessary, documents, if you tick all the boxes, it should not be a problem. Yeah. So I don't really get the whole thing about I don't want to give it back. I mean, who are you to say you don't want to give it back?
Entitlement, man.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me at all.
And they're also forgetting that you can still hold your passport and refuse not to give it. But the government that issued you that passport, they are no more in power.
Yeah.
You understand? So this other government can sabotage you anytime you try to apply, because definitely the embassies, when you submit, they will call and find out.
Actually, what happens if you're traveling government work related, from my experience, what we used to do is the ministry or whatever institution you're representing, they usually write a letter to the office of the president. They approve, and once that approval with your passport is taken to the embassy, usually they don't ask questions, because once it's coming from the presidency, they know it's approved by the president, unless there is something they suspect. So that's another thing I will add to the privileges. What I know is usually they will submit the names of whoever is traveling to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the presidential office, depending on who handles it, and they attach a letter. These officials are going, say, New York for a 2-day meeting, so and so. Once the letter goes to the embassy, they usually don't ask questions. So for example, if let's say Sarkodie, for instance,
refuses, how can he travel or how can he apply for a visa and travel, or apply for a visa without the ministry or whoever is in charge?
You're talking about
now, because your government is not in office. Exactly. So how can you do it? Because you need a letter, right?
I think for government officials, but people like Sarkodie, I think they will do it on their own. They will apply.
But I feel like Sarkodie has been going abroad for like ages. I don't think I'm really doubtful. I don't really think so, but you never know. All right, cool. So let's see the official announcement. It says recall of diplomatic and service passports. So Accra, 15 January 2025, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to inform that it has been directed by the office and the president to record the diplomatic and service passports issued during the tenure of the previous administration, right? So it's got a category of officials. One, former ministers and spouses. So that's pretty okay, right? Former minister, your spouses, you got to give them back. Former members of parliament, irrespective of political affiliation. So it doesn't matter if you're in NDC, NPP, GPC, everybody has to bring it back. Former members of the Council of State and spouses. Makes sense, right? Former retired justices of the superior and lower courts. Makes sense. Former regional ministers, metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. Makes sense? Makes sense. All right. Officials of the National Cathedral Project. Makes sense?
That was another one that created a lot of controversy.
Is it right that you get to pause?
Continue.
No, I cannot, because we got to visit this, because it's like officials of the national. No, it's going to be hard to jump back. So let's get right into it. Officials of the National Cathedral Project. What kind of governmental appointment and ministerial position, or what do they have to warrant a diplomatic passport for them to travel abroad for national?
Let me be sarcastic here. They have to go to Israel for the stones.
The corner.
So they got to bring the cornerstones,
Yeah,
right?
they have to bring the corners and some water from River Jordan.
David Ajayi for the.
Now, I don't understand what kind of official business they would have to go abroad
No,
for
I'm
building
telling
the
you,
National Cathedral.
They need to go to Israel for River Jordan. Is it River Jordan? And then pass through Egypt for the Red Sea. Fetch a little.
No, honestly, I'm not joking. I really want to know. I'm really interested in finding out, like, why these people would have diplomatic
I'm
passports.
telling you, I just said it. I said a country with a whole lot of
Misplaced priorities.
Misplaced priorities. These are some of the things you see.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's move down the line. It says former political ambassadors and dependents. Makes sense. Businessmen and entrepreneurs. Businessmen and entrepreneurs. Why would they have it? What kind of state or official business would they have to go overseas that warrants diplomatic passports?
If you ask me, I don't think any business person should have a diplomatic passport, because unless you are being sent on a state mission, which they can issue a passport temporarily, and when you come back, they collect it. But if you're your own self-made businessman, no matter how rich you are, like Aliko Dangote of Nigeria, why would he have a diplomatic passport? He's not doing things on behalf of the government. He's doing things on behalf of his personal business. So that one I don't really get. And at the end of the day, which business person are you saying deserves a diplomat? Then all the spare parts dealers in Abosoka, yeah, they should all get it.
And entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
It's like everybody's supposed to have it.
Let me add this one. On top of it, I would like to know the business
they're referring to, right?
Yeah, they are referring to. I want to see, because I want to see their contribution.
Yeah, exactly.
Since they got that passport, we have to know that is my thing, because the passport is issued for what?
Official, like government business.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring like one container of Indomie, right? Indomie noodles. You're a business person. You're an entrepreneur.
Not bad.
I'm not joking.
But we like Indomie, so it's okay.
But that's what I'm saying. But that makes you a business person. So maybe you would need a diplomatic passport to make it easier to come to China and, take a look at the plants and how
If you can import one container of Indomie, even an ordinary passport will take you to the USA. You don't need a diplomatic passport.
It doesn't make sense. All right, let's keep going. So it says next on the line is religious and traditional leaders. Religious and traditional leaders.
I think we in terms of the traditional leaders, these are people who we consider as part of the governance of the country.
No, but it's two separate. It's like I think they absolutely like it on their own.
For me, if it's fair, if every traditional leader will get it, then I understand. But if they have to choose some big names,
but they're not even supposed to meddle in politics, right? These traditional leaders.
But they are recognized by
constitution, like they are constitutionally as leaders. So
you see.
Okay, let's move on.
The chieftaincy thing, don't go close.
So last one, former government functionaries. Makes sense to all other persons holding an official passport and currently serving in any official capacity for the state. So if any official capacity in the state, that makes sense. All right, so now we got to go back to the conversation that is causing a lot of heat. The celebrities that have them. Nothing has been proven yet, but if it's true though, then it goes a long way to show how corrupt the country really is. because it's more about whom you know, right? And everybody's trying to like, you know, grab and grasp as much as they can while your government is in power.
For me, unless the celebrity is nominated as an ambassador, yes, like you were saying off camera, then I'll understand, because of course the person is working on behalf of the state. Then that one, it doesn't matter how small, even I will not mention any celebrity, then I can understand. But if you're just a self-made celebrity who is famous, I don't think you deserve a diplomatic passport. You don't, because you don't work on behalf of the government.
On top of it, you have to bring something on the table. So that's why I said I want to see the list that they've been given. Right. I want to see what they've contributed or what they contributed to the past government. Right? Then we can say, okay, fine. Then it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, let's issue it. At the end of the day, it's just a book. Yeah. Right? So let's give it to more people because they brought something. But if we are sitting here talking about it and we cannot pinpoint one thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Just one thing to say, okay, this guy, because they are religious leaders, they went and prayed and God came, right? Or these people. Yes, or these people. Which one? The one that went.
The businessman?
No. The one we just talked about. The controversy, the most controversial.
The traditional leaders?
No, not before the traditional leaders. The cathedral people.
Cathedral.
They went to all the cathedrals around the world to bring a monument or just what
but quick question, was the national cathedral was it like a national project?
It was a national project.
Was it though?
It was.
I think it was privatized.
No,
it was.
He said a personal promise to God.
No, but I heard he said I mean, it's being funded by private investors and stuff like that. It was not. He said there was no taxpayer money in that.
But the land he took, it's a government land.
And eventually, actually, they said money from government went into it. Some $58 million.
These people, if we can see, okay, the project was abandoned, yeah, but we can see where are the stones, where are the water. At least we can also go there and say amen, and we get a blessing. All these people, if we can see just one thing, if somebody can come out and just list one thing they did with that diplomatic
that makes it deserving of the diplomatic passport.
Exactly, because before you have it, it states what you need to do with it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. This is not being harsh or being critical. Just list us one thing, just one thing. And then this conversation will be redundant.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, it's all being, like you said, alleged right now. Nobody can really pinpoint fingers and say, people are just going on about it online, which doesn't really make sense. Because I feel like it's just one thing about Ghanaians. Again, I don't want to use one single brush to paint Africa black, but it's like we really kind of enjoy it with stuff like that. It's like when we people are coming down, everybody's excited and talking about it. It's like, oh, it's all good, blah, 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 right? Why do we get so excited when it's like people are being brought down?
No, when you're in a state of, I won't say delusion, but you're in a state of, you're lost, right? Hope of getting proper building, or if you don't do shady stuff or go through hardship, you lose your focus, your stuff. So these things will come up. It's either you laugh, cry, or laugh and cry.
Both of the two of them.
All is okay because now you are tired, right?
Yeah, I kind of know where you're coming from. I think it's the thing about it's like, okay, now we're all the same, right? Because I feel like when people kind of make it, let's say your circle is not, but people kind of always have this kind of bitterness within them. It's like, why are they enjoying life and we're kind of suffering? So it's like when something bad happens to everybody's just so excited about it. It's like, okay, now we're all the same. On
top of it, they look at those people and say, okay, you saw what the government, their way, the way things were all over the place, and because you were enjoying this privilege, you decided to zip it, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, all these guys have been going they've been going hard on the government.
So. I'll tell you, that is why a lot of people are going after Sarkodie, because throughout the Nana stuff, he never said anything.
He did though. He did. He came up with the song. I forgot the name of the song. There was a line there that said something. I forgot.
just when this
But I'm not saying that change is here and stuff like that. He kind of like he did a song about it.
Okay, so somebody can also counter it by saying because of Doomsaw, but because of Free School, whatever, Nana Twa. So they can use his lyrics anyway. But I'm saying people expected him to use that same energy he did at when Mahama, the time they wanted Mahama out, he was very.
I think also another reason why he has become so prominent is he's made a song recently where I've not listened to the song, but people are saying that in the lyrics he was kind of shading the current president.
He posted a Gary. Okay, maybe he just wanted to post something, but he posted a Gary.
Yeah, he said like now we have to go back to something, and I think that's why the timing was wrong, because just when that song came out, it was around the same time they were calling for diplomatic passport. So people are saying, "Oh, so you also had a diplomatic passport." So that song actually brought the limelight onto himself. Yeah. So that's why, especially
I mean, good timing, bad timing. I don't really care. The point is, get back to work, find a job, do something for yourself and stop all these online.
And also those who have taken our diplomat, they take it back.
Take them back.
The only people who are allowed to keep it are the former president and vice president. If you know you are not a former president, we know they are just two. Yeah. The rest, return them. Let's all go back to our green.
I feel like there's just way too many distractions. You know what I mean? It's like there's a new government in town. Let's kind of focus on what the way forward is, as opposed to all these. I feel all these things become distractions. And to me personally, if you ask me, people just get into that kind of vibe. They get excited because it's like they always feel like when somebody makes it or when somebody succeeds, there's always some sort of I don't know, what's the right word? Some sort of evil behind it, right?
Vengeance.
No. They always feel like
rewarded.
It's like either they have some connection in the government or they're being rewarded unfairly or something like that. Yeah. So when things like that come out, exactly, they kind of get super excited. We knew. Right?
He got there because of this and that.
Exactly. Now you're part of us.
Exactly. It's like, now we're all the same, or we're the same level. So anyways, we're going to drop it right here. Leave a comment in the comment section if you think those who are holding the diplomatic passports back, if they're making any sense at all. I'm just looking for one very reason why you would not want to return the passport. Just one. Right? So leave it in the comment section and then we'll be back.
I want just one reason. Just one thing they've done with that diplomatic passport. What do you want?
Just return them. You are no more in office.
Pretty sure, they've all contributed in their own little way, right? Which we would never know. But at the end of the day, like I said, business is business, Yeah, your work is done. Your work is just give them back. I feel like, there's something about integrity. You know what I mean? You're done with, just give it back. Get your peace of mind. Live your life with your family, enjoy your life.
People don't want peace.
All right, so to the next episode, DLS out.
Peace.